Hi, and welcome to Elena Does Audio Stuff on Road. I am here on Air Studios with Cicely Bolston.
Hello.
And now we're going to be looking at how Cicely masters her stuff here in amazing mastering studio. So we're going to do a little tour. She's going to talk about her workflow, her tools, her devices, plugins, and all that jazz. And if you would like to know what mastering actually is, then we just filmed a really cool Q&A type of situation. So go and watch that after this video. Let's get into it.
Great. Welcome to the studio. This is my studio, Air Studios. What to show you first?
Let's do the hardware first, maybe.
Okay, this is my desk. That's my main computer. This is all monitoring, basically, this section. Maslak desk. I can put in and out, I can monitor from different sources along here.
You want to explain what that means?
Oh, as in I can choose what I'm listening to, whether it's a computer, a CD player, the lathe, whatever it is. Along here, set the volume here, what I'm listening to. Listen to my headphones out here.
In the speakers. What speakers are these?
Kef reference.
And you also have headphones?
Yep, I have ATH M50s, M50Xs,
okay.
Audio Technica, the little Lake People phone amp, headphone amp. So, this is all monitoring. This is kind of cutting. This is a remote control for the lathe, which is over here. And then this is the outboard equipment that I have. This is a Sontec EQ, and this is a Dangerous Music EQ. This is an Elysia compressor. And then this is a Whitestone P331.
Beautiful.
So that's my outboard. This is all clocking. So this is what digital audio gets its reference point from. So all digital audio is snapshots of a signal taken at different times. 44.1K means 44,100 samples per second. This is providing a very clear reference for when those samples should be taken. Means that everything
So what does that mean to you as a mastering engineer? So why do you do that?
Everything in the room is working together. I don't have something traveling off at the wrong speed. The two computers are doing the right thing.
This makes sure that everything is in the same sample rate.
Yes. So in this room, I do digital mastering. I also cut vinyl masters using this lathe over here. So this is a Neumann VMS80. So to make a record, to release something on vinyl, the first stage of the manufacturing process is that the vinyl master needs to be cut. So the disc looks like that before it's been cut. That's a
smooth
blank lacquer. And then it looks a bit like this after it's been cut. So you can see it looks like a record. This lathe works in the same way as a record player does, but in reverse. Instead of playing from the grooves, there's a really heavy, very sharp stylus in here that cuts the grooves. This is the cutting head, the little stylus in there. It moves along the face of the disc like that, but a bit slower.
Ooh.
And it cuts the audio that we're sending it.
So it actually cuts the vinyl already in the here mastering.
Actually cuts the lacquer. And that is what a vinyl master looked like. Once things have been digitally mastered, once the album is finished, digitally mastered,
we go here.
We go here.
And we control it with that.
And we control it with that. Cool. So that's what this is all, basically. Monitoring, lathe control. There's a de-esser here that's quite useful for vinyl because high frequencies are quite important. So sometimes you need to control them. In this point, I just want to thank the sponsors of this mastering series, DistroKid, amazing music distributor. They have this really cool function called splits. Splits is a really easy and awesome way to split all the earnings of a song or an album and basically automatically send all those earnings automatically to the collaborators. This means that your collaborators need to make a DistroKid account, but they do get 50% off from their subscription, which is only like $10 each, which is pretty good. It's super, super easy to use and also is really flexible because you can customize it whenever you want to. And you can also add limitless amount of collaborators to it. So it's perfect for any musician who doesn't want to focus too much on all the accounting stuff, but you can focus on your music and also making sure that you will get to earn
every single of those hard-earned money. Also, DistroKid has been very kind and they've given all my followers 7% off from your first subscription. So go to the link down below to check that out, check those splits, check out DistroKid. Thank you, DistroKid, for supporting my channel. As always, you are freaking awesome. Thank you.
So I've got one computer here. This is what I might play back off. If I was going to go out to analog, play off this computer, go out through the desk, recapture into this computer.
So we have the mix here.
We have the mix here. Yeah.
The original mix comes here. You open it here.
I open it up here.
You send it to all the processing that you want to process it with.
Yep.
You compress it. You EQ it.
Yep.
You do all the monitoring, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
It goes there.
And then it goes into this computer.
What happens in there then?
So this is called Sequoia, this program. And the one on this computer is called Samplitude, but they're made by the same people. They're both made by Magic. These are both PCs. Sequoia is a particularly good DAW for mastering. It has a lot of functionality that we need, like CD, authoring, like PQ markers, so we can embed metadata in, nice fades, good editing, all that kind of stuff. What I do first is listen to whether the analog path is going to work or not. If it's adding something, then great. And if it's not adding anything, then I don't use it. Because with mastering, you know, we're dealing in quite a fixed amount of change. I'm not going to be adding a guitar solo or, you know, putting an extra chorus in there, right? So like,
I was thinking where your guitars are.
Guitar. So the changes are subtle, and to me it's very important that everything that I do is getting me closer to what I'm aiming for.
Mm-hmm.
So if I put something in, you know, I can put in all my pieces of equipment here and take them out. I listen to whether I think that they sound good, and if they don't sound good, then I don't use them. So I do that process, I play it off here, run it through, I decide what I want it to sound like. The analog, think about how much change I want. It's quite nice for me to have different sounding pieces of equipment. So this EQ sounds a bit different to this one. They also do slightly different things. This one has kind of high and low shelf type stuff, whereas this one's parametric, it's got bands. You know, I might use them for different projects, or maybe I'll use them both. And then once it's recaptured into the digital domain, I then might do slightly more forensic type changes. So I can do much more accurate EQing. You can do probably more subtle compression. I do all of my level.
Would be plugins.
And this is on plugins. I do all my level on digital. And then I can get all my tracks of an album all into the same project. I can compare the levels. I can make sure the gaps are correct. I do the starts. I do the ends. I check it on headphones. I check it against the mix. Do all of that, and then it's done. So, as we talked in a previous video, the room plays a big part of it. Yep. So one of the tools is the room. I know these speakers very well because I do all of my listening in here. It's quite nice, you know, if I've got like some admin to do or whatever, I can put on other records. I can listen from Spotify. I can listen from whatever source I want. I listen to loads of music in here, so I have a good frame of reference for what music generally sounds like in here. So that when people send me their tracks to master, I can sort of be starting from that point of having an understanding of what else is going on. I also use metering. I would recommend that anyone who is looking to get into doing any sort of audio, the meters are useful. These ones are VUs. Then I've got a kind of digital scale here. This one's, I think, called a goniometer or a goniometer. Never sure how you're supposed to pronounce it. This one is phase, kind of saying it's left and right and mono and in phase and out phase. Mm-hmm. So something that was mono and in phase would just be a line up the middle here. Looks like that. So you can see it. Yeah. And this is also showing phase. Metering is an extremely useful thing because it just adds to your picture of what everything sounds like. So everything I listen to in the room comes through these meters. And that just means that I can just always get lots of information really quickly to add to what I'm hearing, which is obviously the most important thing.
That's basically everything.
That's everything.
And that's why mastering is so interesting, because it's very subtle, but very powerful.
Yeah, I think so.
So you have a lot of favorite plugins?
I have a lot of plugins.
Would you just want to
the whole list?
What we will do is that we're gonna get Cicely to send a list.
Top 5 plugins.
Top 5 plugins?
Yes.
Yeah?
I sound reticent because I use a really wide variety of plugins. I'm very anti a kind of, you must use this plugin.
Yeah, me too.
What I would really recommend, if you're just starting, just narrow your list down to like 2 EQs, 2 compressors, and 2 limiters. And for every project, do the same thing on both, whatever it is, if you want it to be really compressed or not so compressed. Try and do the same settings and switch between them and see if you can hear a difference and pick the one that sounds better. That's all I'm doing, is putting things in and out and deciding whether I think it's better or not.
Do you want to name anything that you use?
I use a lot of Plugin Alliance plugins.
Alliance? Yeah.
We use some Waves ones. I use Fabfilter mostly for the limiter and the multiband if I need a multiband. To me, it's useful to have plugins that can do left and right and mid and side processing. That's quite a big and useful thing for mastering because we're working from stereo mixes almost all the time. So it's really important to us to listen to stuff to break things down into not only left and right, but into mid and side processing. So everything that's the same about the 2 speakers, the mono signal, and the sides is everything that's different. So every time something's panned, or you might hear the reverb in there, and that can be really useful for me to kind of zoom in on something in the mix when I've only got the stereo mix to listen to.
One more question, which was also in the last one. What do you think plugins like Ozone 9, which a lot of people use?
Yeah, I mean, I don't use it, but I have all this. And I have all the things that Ozone has, you know, the kind of constituent parts. It's got an EQ, it's got a kind of stereo stage, doesn't it? It's got compressor, it's got a limiter. So you can do all the kind of what might be the overarching typical chain in it. But I guess for me, what it's lacking is the individual control over exactly what you want.
So someone who's a beginner might use it, but someone who is more experienced, it's encouraged to use your ears.
Exactly. Always encouraged to use your ears. They're your best tool.
Amazing. It seems very simple, even though there's so much that goes into it, and it's so much about just listening, and that's where the room plays a part.
Exactly.
And that is mastering. Thank you so much, Cicely, for showing your studio and how you master. Remember to go and check out the video that we just published previously to this one, which is a Q&A. And that's where we'll chat a lot about what mastering is. Cicely just throws some knowledge. It's brilliant. Go and watch that. Remember to subscribe and hit the bell icon because this series is not ended yet. There will be 2 more videos, especially good for people who are in Ableton Live because Ableton. Whee! Also, thank you so much again for my Patreons. There they are. My Patreon family is the best. They're so supportive. If you struggle with confidence, if you struggle with self-esteem or an insecurity, especially when it comes to any type of audio stuff or any kind of creativity, this is the group and this is the place to come and hang around because we support each other. Thank you so much, Cicely, and subscribe and bye.